Hi everybody, I'm back. This is Linda and Handsthatcook, and today I'm going to make a blackberry pie. And these are wild blackberries. My girlfriend, my good friend Carolyn, and her husband, they got about 10 acres of land, and they were so gracious to give me some blackberries. So this is 4 cups of blackberries, and wild blackberries are smaller than the ones you buy in the store. Alright, so that's 4 cups with some juice, and I'm putting 1/4 cup of tapioca, minute tapioca in there, and you have to shake the box before you use it. I've also got 1 cup of sugar in there. So I'm going to mix these up. These had a whole lot more juice. Actually, here's the rest of the juice. I just couldn't use it all. I didn't think I'd end up with a soggy mess, right? So I'm going to mix this in with the sugar. You can mix it in the sugar and then add both at the same time. But I put the sugar in first because I was a little bit afraid of how much juice I would have. And you got to let this sit and let the tapioca absorb into those blackberries. In the meantime, I've preheated my oven to 400 degrees, and I'm going to let it's not totally preheated yet. And here's my pie plate. This is a 9.5 inch pie plate because I'm afraid I thawed out too many blackberries, so I used a 1/2 inch bigger pie plate, and I've already put my pie crust in there. And when my 15 minutes is up for this to expand and be able to control the juices, then I'll be back and we'll continue on. And I have to tell you, I made this pie early on when I opened this channel. But the problem was that for some reason, even though I had the time, for some reason YouTube divided up my video. And so it didn't get very many clicks. So I'm going to do it again. We're in blackberry season, and they just brought me some more blackberries. So I'll see you in a bit. Alright guys, we're back. While I was waiting that 15 minutes for the activation of the tapioca, I went ahead and made an egg wash, and I put a thin layer down in the bottom of my pie crust. Pie dough. It's not a crust yet. And it's a thin layer, and it's just 1 beaten egg with a tablespoon of water in there. And this creates a barrier between the juice of the pie and the crust as it bakes, and it's supposed to help keep the crust from getting soggy, the bottom crust. So, alright, our blackberries are done, and I went ahead and rolled out my top crust. So here's my blackberries. I'm just going to pour them in, and that is, I measured these, that's definitely 4 cups of blackberries. I'll scoot them around in there. Excuse my bowl. It didn't fill this one up. I probably could have used a 9 inch. But that's okay. You know, it doesn't matter. Now I'm going to put some dabs of butter in here. On top of the crust. You don't have to, but you can. And this, I don't usually. This time I'm going to do it. I don't know why. I just felt like it. So, 3. I'm going to put one more. There we go. There's my little dab of butter. Now I'm going to carefully, and I put a design in it, so I'm carefully going to lift this crust up. I'm going to divide it in, well, maybe not. I think I'll just slide it over. There we go. Design and all. Well, I forgot to wet my pie crust around the edges, but I'll do that now. Because we want this to stick. And you can cut off any extra pie crust, but since I'm a pie crust lover, I don't do that. I eat it. I eat it, y'all. Let's see. Alright. Now I'm going to get this down. I'm going to fold under the top crust, and I'm going to make like a ridge around it. A ridge, like a mountain, a little mountain. There we go. And you mash it real good because you want this to adhere. You don't want it to come loose. Alright? I'm going around the pie, and I'm making my ridge. Now I'm going to tell you there's several ways to flute a pie, and it doesn't always have to be with your fingers. You can use the tines of a fork, which I've seen. I've seen that done many times. And another way is, I didn't get that far enough down. Another way is to use a spoon, and I'll show you that in just a second. Now, you're going to try to hide the rim of your plate. Now what you do with a spoon is you just turn it upside down and you make little indentations in it. See, like that. I'll get closer so you can see it. See right there? Little indentations, you do 2 of them. And it's real pretty when it goes on around the pie. So, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do my usual pinch. I like the pinch technique. You can make them as close together or as far apart as you want to. Now that's entirely up to you. It's just so easy. You just put one finger in and pinch it together with the thumb and index finger of your other hand. Excuse me. Alright. Whoop, I've got a hole in it right there. Okay. Don't use your nails like I just punctured mine. And over here where I started real wide, I'll go ahead and get them a little closer together. Alright, 425 degrees for the first 15 minutes. Push that up against your pie plate. And then turn it down to 375. And I'm going to say 40 to 55 minutes. It just depends. So we'll be back when it's done and cooled so Sam can test it. You can go ahead and put another thin layer of an egg wash on top and sprinkle it with sugar before you put it in the oven. And then don't do the edges because they always burn. So I'm going to get my sugar here. I have a lot of pie crust recipes on my website, on my channel I should say. And one of my favorites is my new easy go-to pie crust, and it is easy. But most of the ones that I do are easy. So take a gander and you can decide which one you want to make, because they're all doable for beginners, because I was a beginner 2 or 3 years ago. See you in a bit. I'm getting ready to cut this pie. I had to bake it and then let it cool, and it's not quite cool, but I think it's cool enough. We'll see. There's some things I want to point out because I don't want you to make the same mistake, and I should know better. But I'm going to scoot down in here. You see how the crust fell forward here? It's because I didn't have it far enough on the rim of the pie. It's either going to fall forward or it's going to do like this side right here, which is fall backwards. So if you take a look at the actual pie, you'll see it's not shaped right for those very reasons. Now this is just for my family, but and you know what, it's good enough for company as well. But you know, if you're going to go to the trouble to make a pie crust, make sure that you don't make those mistakes. And like I said, I should have known better, but I didn't. You know, I was in a hurry. So I'm going to cut this pie, and I can't really tell how close you guys are. Alright, I'm going to cut it. I'm going to cut it here where the, oh, that crust is magnificent. Where it fell backwards. That's where I'm going to cut it. I don't dare cut Sam a small piece because he'll be insulted. Yeah. He's not right here at the table. I tried to get him to go get some ice cream, which ordinarily he would have been thrilled, but he didn't want to this time, so let's see how this comes out. I took all that juice and I put it in the refrigerator. And tomorrow, I'm not going to do it today, but tomorrow I'm going to put it in a saucepan and let it reduce. And when I look at that, that is what I call a perfect piece of pie. Perfect. So I'm going to cut y'all off, go find Sam, and we'll be back. I found him. But while I'm thinking about it, I'm going to flip this up so you all can see the bottom of this pie. It is not at all soggy. You see that egg wash protected it. So you all remember that trick. And on the top, if you don't, the top of the pie, if you don't want it to get as brown as mine did, don't use egg wash. Use water. A little bit of water and some sugar, and it'll get a little browner if you use milk. So those are your choices. All right, Sam. Your turn to try this pie.
Well, you know, blackberry pie is my favorite of all time. My grandmother used to make it a lot when I was young. Just something. Of course, I like blueberry and peach and all that. But something about blackberry pie. Almost makes you want to cry. Crust is delicious, light, flaky. And the filling is just like it's supposed to be. Remind me of old-fashioned blackberry pie, the way. Well, you made it that way. You made your own crust. And, well, as far as I'm concerned, you hit this out of the park. Because that's perfect blackberry pie. It's got a little tad of, just a minute tad of bitterness, but that's the way the blackberry.
I think that's the seeds.
That's the way that it's supposed to taste. Absolutely delicious.
You got anything else to say to us today?
Well, I'm just going to give you a tip, although I don't think most of you need this, but the best way to raise your own dope is to plant a politician. and that's the way you do it. And that's really all. I'm going to try to come up with some new jokes next week or so. Y'all try this pie, you'll love it. If you like blackberries and you like pie, you'll love this.
Well, thank you, Sam. And thank all of you for coming in, sharing your day with me, which I greatly appreciate. It's always a blessing, and I'm... Uh-oh, sorry about that, guys. I appreciate you taking time out of your life to spend some of it with me. So, thank you all my old subs, and welcome all my new subs. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and when you hit the subscribe button, a bell will pop up. And if you'll click on that bell, you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. And some of those you have to hit save after you hit the bell, and others I've noticed you don't. So until next time, you all take care, enjoy this pie, and God bless every one of you.